So one of the hats I wear is licensing. The other two hats I wear are campus stores, Titan Shops, and campus dining. And with me today, I have Mishu Vu, who is he's got a long title. So I'll let him tell you what his title is. And we're going to kind of share with you some tips and strategies and inform you about the university brand. And there's a component to it called licensing that we're going to go into. But with that, I'm going to kick it over to Mishu and let him start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you guys. My name is Mishu Vu. I'm the Senior Director for Brand and Creative Services under a department called Strategic Communications and Brand Management. Yeah, it's really long. My business card it's probably 5 pages long just for that title alone. No, I'm joking, of course. So thank you so much. Are you guys excited, nervous, dreading the fall semester? Oh, you're excited. Good, good, good. Awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone here first-time freshman or new to the campus? All right, you're all seasoned vets. Very good. How many of you are seniors? Oh my gosh, majority of you. Oh my God. We don't want to see you guys go. We like our students. We want to keep them here as long as we can. I know it's important for you guys to go as well. But thank you for being here with us. We greatly appreciate that. We're here to talk about the university brand and also to talk about what you guys can and really cannot do. Okay, in terms of cannot do, we're not trying to be mean or anything like that, but we're all trying to do the same thing, which is to protect the university's brand image. Why does that matter? Why is it so important? Why can't I grab a Mercedes-Benz logo and use it and slap it as a sticker on my shirt or my folder or any other logos? Why can't I do that? Well, because obviously they spend millions or billions of dollars protecting that brand, that image. Okay. So same here with the university, and for your clubs and organization, you want to do the same thing too. You're here because one, most likely, you're looking to help your club and organization thrive, all right, and develop a strong reputation and hopefully recruit more students, especially the freshmen and the sophomores, to come join your team or your family. That's all part of branding in a way as well. So in order to do that, we got to do two things. One, make sure we establish a strong, positive reputation for your clubs and organization, and two, protect it. Why is that so important? Because guess what? You guys are so committed to your clubs and organizations that most likely when you graduate, you're going to have that name of your club in your resume, correct? I know I did that, and my brothers and sisters did that with their resumes. And so my older brother told me, he used to be a member and then the president for the Circle K Club, I believe it was. That helped him in so many ways. That helped him, believe it or not, to get into medical school. Okay. So your clubs and organization does have value to them. So that's the whole point of this presentation, to make sure that your club and organization reputation is strong and reputable. Okay. So we're here to help you explain. In order to do that, we need to make sure that the university's brand is also strong as well. And the alliance between your clubs and organization and the university can coexist and strengthen each other across the board. Does that make sense what I'm saying there? Okay. So first off, brand. What does that mean? Everyone thinks of branding. The reason why you're here is probably think about logo. Yes, logo is a part of it, but logo is actually just a small part of branding. Branding is what you actually are doing every day in your clubs and organization. And in fact, you are a living, walking, breathing brand yourself. Okay. Your name, your personality, your engagement with the people that you care about, your loved ones, how they think of you, right? All of that, and your accomplishments, your desires, your goals in life, all of that is a part of your brand. We all have brands, okay? But the university is just scaled up from one individual to over 40,000 students plus employees. and over 300,000 alums. Could you believe that? We have over 300,000 alums graduating from our university. Okay. So all of that is our brand together. It's not just my brand or Kim's brand. It's your brand too. Because I remember, as I mentioned, you're going to put in your resume, your education is going to say Cal State Fullerton in there, right? So we want to make sure that it's as strong as possible to help you with your career moving forward. That's the whole point. Okay. So anyway, branding goes beyond the logo. It's about the experience up there, as you can see, and the identity. Okay. The experience meaning your educational experience here, your campus life experience here, your overall engagement of past several years you've been here. That experience, both good and bad, is a part of the brand experience. Hopefully more positive, more good moments than negative or bad moments, okay? And the identity, that means, again, your experience. You're working with your faculty. Have they been very helpful for you in terms of your educational growth and development? And along with your clubs and organization, are you helping your fellow members? Are other members helping you with your personal or professional interest too? That's all part of the brand experience and identity. Does that make sense? I'm saying? So you can imagine the logo part is just a small element of it, but that's the one thing that everyone tends to see. Okay, thank you. Okay. First off, when we talk about brand identity, we have to go here. Everyone thinks of the logo first. Well, actually, in order to have a logo, you have to have a name, correct? Right? So a few years ago, we hired an outside marketing consultant to do a prospective surveys for internal campus members and external campus outside of the campus as well. So we received a lot of positive comments overall about the university's reputation being strong and positive. But there was one thing we noticed that this needs some improvement upon. We noticed that every individuals we conducted the survey with and asked questions to, we noticed that there's one area of consistency. People keep getting our names incorrect. We've been called a lot of different things over the years. And we realized this is an area we need to strengthen up. So as the seniors here, you may recall our previous logo, which had like the orange tree. Does that ring a bell? Yes? Okay. So how did we go from that to a current model, which is the one in the middle? It says Cal State Fullerton, very minimal, just text. How do we go from an orange tree to that? The reason is because of that survey. If we go back here again, thank you. Again, it's because campus would keep getting our names incorrectly over the years. All right. As you can see, that picture is our gateway, California State University, Fullerton. At the 11th hour, I was finally to see the architectural rendering just before they were about to build it. And guess what? The name was incorrect. Even our campus architect got our name incorrect. Then I realized, oh my God, we have an issue that we got to fix here, right? So imagine your name is Elizabeth. You want to be called Elizabeth, but for some reason, people keep calling you Lizzie, Becky, Beth, Eliza, whatever. But you want to be called Elizabeth or whatever name you prefer. There's an issue there, right? If people can't get our names correct, then what's the reputation? What's our identity? So that's the reason why we moved over to our current logo, which is our name. We realized that we have a good positive reputation, but we can go the next step level higher and better, and which is to get our name straightened out first, okay? So that's the reason why we have that current logo. So these are the names that are incorrect names that we often see. CSU Fullerton. Everyone thinks that that's one of our official names. It never was. It was never when we were established in 1957 to this day. CSU Fullerton was never part of our name. It's still being used around on campus, but we're trying to fix that, okay? So why is that important? Why am I sharing this with you? It's because later on, as you're thinking about your brand, okay, most likely the one thing that by nature we all want to do, we want to make our logo look as awesome as possible, right? And that usually means going gangbuster, making it look as creative and as graphical as possible, correct? Well, my answer is that at the end of the day, what do you want your members and the people to recognize? The name of your clubs and organization or that awesome, cool graphics you created? Secondly, on your resume, what's going to be on there? Is it your logo or the name of your club and organization? I think you get the answer. You get the idea, right? Your name is so more important. So that's the reason why we moved over from the orange tree logo, for those who have seen it in the past, because so much focus was on that graphic that people forget about our name. They just assumed we are CSU Fullerton, we are CS Fullerton, and all these other variations. Okay, so your name of your club and organization have strong value. It is probably one of those, that plus your brand experience that you guys do. Those are your strongest valuable brand assets you have. So if you are looking to either develop or reimagine your club and organization brand identity, go ahead and be creative and as graphical as you want. But just to remember one thing from our experience, make sure your name is prominent, because that's what people are going to focus on. Okay. So these are our the current university's logo system. The top row are the university. These are represent our three. We have the Cal State Fullerton, which is the university, and our acronym CSUF. Okay. For a long time, people were worried about, well, this is not Fresno. No, they never go by that. That's us. We own that. Okay. So as you go around walking, as you can see on my shirt, you go to Titan shops, you see CSUF. That's us. All right. And then a third, of course, are our various department logos. As you can see, it's very text-based. All right. So people are asking, well, why is it all text-based? Well, if you go ahead and do a Google search for some other university's logo, like do a Google search for UCI, UCLA, USC, San Diego State, all of those, Long Beach, their logos is the same. It's text, not very much graphical. Why is that? It's exactly what I said. Naming is more important. Okay. So focus on your clubs and organization. And below that, of course, is our athletics marks. Okay. They can be a lot more graphical because they focus on the spirit of athletics and the university. Does that make sense there? Okay. Now over to Kim to talk about student learning.
So we'll have some do's and don'ts for you, but as you saw on this other slide, these are the official university logos. They are not for student use because you as student groups have your own voice, your own stance, your own perspective on things, and you're not there representing the university, you're there representing your club. So while you can use the university name itself, Cal State Fullerton, CSUF, California State University Fullerton, you can't use the formal logo formats because that is the university's logos. So we'll get into that a little bit more, but just kind of clarification on there. In addition to that, you cannot use the athletic marks. Now, if you're an intramural club or sports club, you can use a version, which I'll show you in a minute, that we can have custom made for you as a club because it's, it's more of a uniform aspect of it, but don't take elements of these logos and try to modify them and then incorporate it into your logo. We're just showing you this so you know what not to use. So a lot of times people just grab a screenshot of a logo and you'll slap it on a t-shirt. Probably shouldn't do that. So we'll go into that in a little bit. So only those, and of course you guys represent this here today, only registered student organizations can use the university name in conjunction with their organization name. Okay. You may create your own logos, be creative, do your own things, but you can't, like I said, use the university official logos. You can put those logos on promotional product. You can put it on t-shirts. You can put it on tote bags. You can use it for your flyers. You can do all of those. I talked about the exception for the intramural and club sports. I'll get into that. Oh, actually, one right there. So that's the only version of the formal university logo that you can use for club sports. And it's got to say club on it, because we do have D1 athletics. We have basketball. So you don't want to be out there representing basketball. You want to be out there representing club basketball. We don't want any confusion there. So if you're needing one of those logos, and my email will be at the end of this, you can email me and I can get that logo for you and all the files and variations that you need. Also, when you use the university name, again, you can't use our marks, but you can use, when I say marks, I mean the formal font. So that font style that we showed you on this other one, those are our formal fonts. You can use CSUF, bubbly, and however font you want to make it. You just can't use our formal fonts. If you use the university name and you put it on a product, you need to use a licensed vendor. The university names and logos are registered licensed trademarks. So any vendor who puts that name on a product needs to be a licensed vendor. And we'll get into the reasons why they do that. When you're adding the university name to a design, you also need to make sure that you have the little registered trademark symbol on it, because it's a registered trademark. So some do's and don'ts. We're going to start with the do. Do create a graphic that reflects your organization, your representation, or your reputation. And as Mishu was mentioning earlier, you're going to put this on your resume. Your organization, especially those of you who are part of national organizations, there is national acknowledgement of those organizations, and it means something. So make sure that your image is reflective of what the values are of your organization. Make sure you're proud of it, right? Make sure that your organization name is clear and prominent. Sometimes I see some designs where it's kind of like an afterthought. And I'm like, wait, are you promoting the university or are you promoting your organization? So make your organization the focus and then say at Cal State Fullerton or something like that. We do encourage you to leverage any symbols or standards from your national affiliations or your parent organizations. We highly encourage you to use the school colors, and I'll show you some examples of that a little bit later. So while you may not use our formal logos, you can certainly incorporate our school colors into your design. And you're more than welcome to create your own elephant character. Do not use the cartoon character Tuffy that we have. That is a formal campus mark. It's used for internal communication, but you can go and create your own. Don't call it Tuffy. All right, so we already talked about the first one. Don't incorporate university logos, only the name reference. Don't modify those logos. You think you wouldn't have to say this, but we do have to say this. Make sure there's no profanity or graphically explicit work symbols or imagery. Goes without saying, but of course we always have to say it. Don't do a design in a way that it makes like the university is representing what you're communicating. You're communicating what your group and organization is communicating. It is not the official stance of the university. It's the official stance of your club or organization. So you're not advocating on behalf of the university, you're advocating on behalf of your club. So just be mindful of how you're presenting it and the university alongside of what you're doing. And make sure you do not incorporate other organization brands or marks without their approval. So don't grab the Nike swoosh and throw it on your product. Nike would not like that. Don't grab the Disney ears and throw it on your product. Disney would not like that. So just some tips. Like I said, it kind of goes without saying. You want to jump onto social media real quick?
Sorry, real quick. I see people taking notes. Thank you very much for letting you know. I think Kyle is going to provide this PowerPoint for you afterwards, right? Okay, very good. Social media. So we have a problem with one area of social media. That tiny little avatar. Have you? Isn't like annoying to work with, right? So many of our department names are really long, and some of your clubs and organizations are really long as well. So how do we go about doing that? So what we tell people is to go ahead and create whatever you want. But one thing we recommend is we rely on the handle, the social media handle, like at CSUF, in this example, Business Innovators Club. That's something I made up. I'm not sure that's even real or anything like that. But use that handle. That's probably the best way to have your official name of your organization on there. Not so much the graphical little avatars, okay, which tend to be very tiny, as you know, is that, okay? And to sum up, as I mentioned, the university's reputation and your clubs and organizations' reputation are your strongest assets. Okay. We want to make sure that they both have values in your resume. We want to make sure that eventually through the rest of your life, you are a proud member or alum of your clubs and organization and this university as well. So Kim and I, we do our best job to help the campus build that, strengthen that reputation, not only for personal pride, but to help all you students too, to make sure that the value of your experience here has meaning, the value of your degree has meaning too. And that's the same goes for your clubs and organization, okay? So, I'm sorry, real quick. So that means in order to make sure we do that, we all kind of have to be kind of like the brand ambassador as presidents, treasurers, executive members of your clubs and organization. You guys are your own brand ambassador for your clubs, by all means. Okay. So now, if you can think about expand it to include the university as well. Being a brand ambassador, making, for example, sure exactly what Kim just shared about the do's and don'ts. Try if you can, please use those guidelines. Kim and I are available to answer any questions. We'll provide the contact information a little bit later on to help assist you in any questions you may have. Okay. Again, name recognition is the most important thing. All right. More so than graphic appeal. Okay. Think about your clubs and organizations. Think about how you can strengthen the overall reputation more so than spending time on the graphic of the logo. Why am I having to say this? Because it's surprisingly how many departments who come to my shop and asking, "Hey, can you create a logo for me?" I was like, "No, no, let me educate you on what branding is all about." Okay, so think about that. Okay, and so lastly, so sorry, logos are visual marks of our credibility and reputation. Everything I just mentioned before. All right, let me give it back to Kim.
So I'm going to go into the practical application of the foundation that Mishu just laid for you. And this is probably where you're most like, okay, how do I do this? All right. So I mentioned earlier that you can only use approved licensed vendors when you apply the university name to your product. Now, if you're just putting your club name on it and it has no reference to the university in terms of the university name, do what you want, use whatever vendor you want. That's okay. But if you're referencing the university, you got to use a licensed vendor. So that QR code there will, and again, we'll share this slide with Kyle. That QR code there will take you to the brand central page. That's got a lot of information that we're talking about today. And it's got a list of vendors who can do swag for you. So you are free to reach out to any of those vendors on that list and do your own ordering directly with those vendors. That's fine. They know what to do. I'm going to kind of highlight what that process is just so you have an understanding of it. But we update that list every month. So any changes to vendors will be reflected on that list on a monthly basis. So there's also some other resources on there under the visual identity and guidelines. You'll see some different color palettes if you're trying to figure out what colors you might want to use on your logo. There's some that complement the school colors really well. So that's a great resource for trying to figure out what kind of colors you might want to incorporate into your designs. So the reason why we use licensed vendors, like I mentioned, we are registered trademarks, but mostly it is to make sure we're getting it right. Mishu talked about the study the campus did, and a lot of times people take some liberties with logos and designs, and they shouldn't. And what happens with that, when everyone's doing the wild, wild west and their own little thing with it, you start diluting your brand recognition. So we want to make sure we're as tight as possible with our university image. And so that's one of the reasons why we use a licensing partner to make sure that this is all artwork on anything. So if you've gone to like say Costco or Target and you've seen Fullerton product in the local stores, Sam's Club, Costco, Lids, you've probably seen it there. All of that had to go through licensing and got approved by the university first. So we had to make sure that it represented our brand properly and they were using everything correctly. In addition, because they're not a campus entity, they had to pay a royalty. So if you're going to use the university name and sell product with our name on it, there's a royalty assigned to it. So for all those reasons I just mentioned, so we can check and verify, here's a couple of examples of some things. So Granted, you are not allowed to use the university marks, but I think these are great representations on design and how you apply them. So as you can see the F logo and you see it on that backpack, what happened when they put the Navy outlined F on the dark backpack? You can't really see the Navy, right? So be mindful of something like that. You may need to alter some of your logo colors based on the product you're applying your logo to. So in this case, the white outlined F would be great because it's going to really pop on that dark background, the lower corner there. So just be mindful of those things. And again, when you're using a licensed vendor, these are things, I'm the one who reviews everything. So these are things I'm going to notice and catch. And I'm going to put a comment saying like, you can do it, but it would really look better if you did it this way. We can't alter marks, but that's kind of doesn't really apply here in this case. Another great representation of that is see in the middle there where it says Cal State Fullerton, and the Cal State, they use the white version of it, but the background is really light. You kind of lose the Cal State in that. So maybe having your logo, if you want to use white, make sure it's outlined and you're putting it on a light background. You can make some minor adjustments to your logo so that it looks better because you want people to recognize you. You went all through the effort of creating the item. Make sure it pops, make sure your brand and your name is standing out. Don't freehand and draw things and use logos like that one t-shirt submission from Zazzle. And then you can't take a university logo, and as you can see, a club did it, ROTC, and just slap your organization's name around it. So those are just examples of things not to do. In terms of the vendor process, so if you go to that website and you pull any vendor off that list, the process is pretty much going to be the same. You as a club are going to tell the vendor what you're looking for, what your budget is. You're going to give them the design work unless they're going to do the design work for you. You're going to work through that design back and forth multiple times. And then when you're all said and done, then the vendor is going to take that final artwork. They're going to submit it through the licensing system, and then I'm going to see it. And then from there, I'm going to do final approval. There's nothing you all have to do on your end. You don't have to send it to me first. The vendor will take care of all of that. It's just wanted to inform you of that process. It doesn't really add much time to your process because I look at artwork every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Like I said, it's vendor driven. And in the last 2 months, I looked like at 3,000 different pieces of artwork. So there's a lot. And the main purpose of it is to try to address any of those corrections that are needed. If you have a vendor that you really want to use for a product, like last fall, we had the club volleyball team and they wanted to use Slunks, which is a brand of volleyball beachwear shorts. And so we worked with them to get that vendor license, no problem. If you have a vendor that you're really wanting to use, they can get on that brand website under the licensing page. There's a link to any vendor can go on and apply to have a license. It's a process that they have to go through. You don't have to do anything with it. The vendor can go there and get approved for it. And then once they're on that list, any club can use them. It's not just limited to maybe the club that initiated their whole process to begin with. And I can certainly be a reach out for any vendors who have questions about that process. I'm happy to help. So the types of items that you must use the licensed vendor for: t-shirts, banners, drinkware, pens, pencils, tote bags, backpacks, etc. Organizational items when you're doing your polos, if you're doing a tablecloth, if you're doing giveaways, all of those require a licensed vendor. Again, only if you're including the university name in your image. If you're not, you can use whatever vendor you would like. So we have some examples here that I think are good representations for you to consider. This is the CSUF Accounting Society Student Club. And this is a great way, as you can tell, they incorporated the school color. I wouldn't put navy on dark, but they incorporated the school color here. And they got their CSUF on there, so they're referencing the university, and they got their club name. As you can see, when you just Google like accounting society, you can get a whole bunch of other universities club logos, and you can see how they've been able to differentiate themselves amongst their peers at other campuses. So I thought that was just a good example: school colors, university name, club name, and it's pretty straightforward. This is another one where I thought was good. This is a little bit older because it's got the TM instead of the R circle there. But this is where they took their national organization and they added their campus underneath it. So this is a way to incorporate the university with a national name as well as the national symbol within their design. Perfect, acceptable use of incorporating both of those elements. this is a what not to do and then what it became. So the rugby club was just taking the F logo. I can tell by looking at it, they used the wrong PMS color on the orange, but that's just because I look at this stuff all the time. And then they just slapped a rugby underneath it. Again, that F is the primary mark for our D1 athletics, and we do not have a rugby team. So it could be misleading to the campus community to think that we have a rugby team when we don't. So, but what is acceptable is the one underneath. So we're all squared away. We got them their logo. They're good to go. And if you're needing one of those, just reach out to me. But this is the intramural and club teams can use that version of that logo, and it's got to say club on it. So this is something that came about because as we started educating and getting everyone on the same page, we understood that there was also a need for a resource. And I know sometimes when you guys do your club merch, you have these pop-up shops and it's there and gone. And then someone on your group has to like collect all the orders, collect everyone's money, place the order, get that all, and then distribute everything when it comes in. So it takes time, effort, energy to do that. We have the opportunity, or you have the opportunity to utilize an online website for your club merchandise. And it's not limited to team sports. It can be any club. This is just the example that we have up here. So in this case, the club rugby said, hey, I don't want to manage trying to figure out what product my club members want. And I want them to have a variety of things because sometimes when you go to vendors, they have minimums that you have to meet in order to place your order. This is an opportunity for you to utilize this tool, put your club logo on it, and pick out whatever design or whatever apparel items. You can do backpacks, you can do hats, you can do bags, slap your club logo on it, let your members order, and they can order a single one unit. So, and it's up year round. That's the other thing. I know some of those pop-up shops, you got a timeline of when you can get your stuff ordered. So this has come about because students didn't want to have to manage it, and they wanted something like if you get a club member later or someone lost their shirt, they need to go get something else. This became an opportunity for them. Like I said, you can order just one item. It ships directly to whoever ordered it, and you as a club can get a 10% commission on it. I pay to your agency account with ASI. Yes. Exactly. Print on demand. So if you're interested, I'm your contact for that. QR code goes straight to the website that we use. I think club volleyball, rugby, powerlifting, lacrosse. They are all currently using it right now. And we're getting ready for school of nursing, want some product on there too. So you can go to that website, pick out whatever items you can find on that website. Email me if you're not one of the sports clubs, email me your image that you want to have on there and the links to the items that you want that logo on. And then I'll work with the vendor to get those all assigned. So when you go to that page, you would type in, say, accounting society, and anything that had the accounting society on it would pop up. And so you have your own personal page there for your group. And then you guys order away. I don't see the orders. They come and go to you. I just get a report on the sales. And then quarterly, I send a check to ASI for any of the clubs that had merchandise sales through that site. And that is it in a nutshell. So we definitely have time for questions. And then Mishu and my contact is at the end here. QR code goes to the brand website, but we just want to make sure that you guys understand what you can and can't do when it comes to the university logos and what resources are out there for you and clubs that are trying to pull together some swag or merchandise for your organizations, and know that we're here as a resource for you for any questions that you have throughout the process. All right, so our contact information up there. I probably have one of the easier emails on campus, Cable. So feel free to reach out to me and ask questions. If I can't answer it, certainly I partner with Mishu on that. I'm an email all day long, so you'll usually catch me pretty quickly. So anything else?
I just want to acknowledge, I was just reading, totally unrelated to branding, sorry. I was reading an interesting higher ed article about top students in universities. They're called visionary achievers. And I'm looking at you guys and think, oh my God, I think you guys are it on our campus. You guys are the top creme. I'm not talking about your GPA. I don't know what it is, but the fact that you guys are so passionate about your personal or professional interests and that you guys are leading, these are huge learning experiences for you, and it's going to look so good in terms of not only your resume, but also your career, having establishing that level of knowledge and experience in terms of professionalism and leadership, and working collaboratively with your fellow members by all means. So thank you so much for being so proactive in your education and in being here. I sense that already by all means. So I really am appreciative of you guys. And I would say, um, have a great fall semester. And for those who are seniors, hopefully this is your last semester or last year here will be an exceptional experience for you overall. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, so right now in about 5 minutes, the session in the theater will end, and then you all will have your options to go into your next session. We have the slides up for the next session in that room, but please don't get up until like 5 minutes, just so that everyone has a chance. There's 3 more breakout rooms. There's one in here, one in the room, the room over there, and the theater. Okay. One is about resume. Let me see. Resume. One of them is about building onto, like, getting involved with your ICC if you have one, or getting onto an ICC if you're not on one. And then the third one, what was it? Yeah. All right. That I meant, you weren't even listening to me. I already said that one. Resume, meeting without, the burnout one. Yeah. Leadership without burnout, the ICC one, and build it on your resume. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all look so energized and happy. How you doing, Ashley? You doing all right? Yep. Happy, energized. We're almost done. And then you all will go on your way. Okay. 5 minutes. Oh, never mind. I was just told you can go. Okay. The rooms specifically are in the slide next door. Make sure you know where you're going.